What's up, my dudes? Weird Obstacles Guide. Yeah, bet you've never seen one of these out there before. Got this really cool idea from seeing this absolutely insanity-built section here on this one track. Some of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Pretty sure about 99.99% of you guys that completely killed yourself on that section about 1,000 times. But yeah, I wanted to come in here and do something a little different. Kind of a guide on... You know, this is not like a standard guide, obviously. It's not like, oh, whoops guide, or oh, cornering guide, or oh, whatever. This is like just the weirdest sort of sections you've ever seen in your life, okay? And I'm only using this section right here. There are some more definitely on certain specific tracks out there. This is just one of the most recent ones I could remember. But you could go scurry through all the, 2013 upwards of 18 Supercross tracks and find quite a few of them. They're just those sections that it's like, seems like that track is the only track that has that kind of section on it. It's just built in a certain way to where you can't really train for it. You can't prepare for it. It's like something you've never even hit before type of thing. And so then you got to figure out, well, how do I hit this? Like, it's so weird feeling. What is this kind of section? Like, what's going on here? If you never hit it before, then it's almost like playing the game for the first time again, because you learn all these sections when you first start riding on Supercross. You learn how to hit the whoops. So then you just kind of get an idea on how to hit any kind of whoops. You learn how to hit main 85-foot triples. So you just kind of learn how to do that. You learn how to hit the corners. You learn how to hit the finish line doubles. You know, all this stuff is pretty like consistent on most Supercross tracks. So you just kind of build this like knowledge, and you just about can get on any Supercross track and hit any section the first lap on it if you know Supercross tracks, right? But every once in a while they'll throw these curveballs in there where it's like, what in the hell is this? I've never seen this in my entire life. And a lot of times there's really no way to even tell you how to hit it. So every one of them's different. But what I will say is a lot of the weird sections that you'll find on tracks, they might have certain elements of other sections to them, so that's a way you can kind of compare it and relate to it, and it might help you on the section. For instance, this one right here in particular, right, basically what it is it's a dragon's back jump into another, like, raised up half of a dragon's back into another like triple, but you're jumping into it, right? So very, very weird. But what you have to kind of do in your head is not get too far ahead of yourself on a section like this. That's really the whole trick to it, honestly. Some of them, I feel like you hit them a lot slower than you have to. Like certain sections on any track, for that matter, a lot of times people, it's like they try too hard to hit it big when you really don't have to. A lot of times the trick to certain sections is how easy you hit it, how simplistically you hit it. You know, like for instance, this right here, you don't want to come up to the jump face and just hit it wide open, right? That seems like that's what probably a lot of first timers on this type of section would think in their mind, like, oh crap, I'm hitting this first dragon's back and I got to jump all the way to that second dragon's back and then jump off of that one, so I must have to hit this first dragon's back like wide open or something, right, to have the momentum to do that. But that's not true. So if you hit this trucker wide open right here, you're going to be flipping and flying right up over them bars, boy, like quicker than you can say Bob's your uncle, okay? So you don't want to do that. Specifically with this section, I've found it's almost like you have to go up to it, hit it slow, and this is just one of these types of sections. It's impossible for me to explain how to hit every sort of weird obstacle because they're weird obstacles. Like, there's no way for me to, fully explain it to you. I'm just trying to give you the overall mindset of how to do it. Basically, that's what this guide is. So you want to hit this like, you know how most dragons backs, you kind of like what you're trying to do is almost hit the first one and then jump up into the very last dragon's back and really focus on hitting the gas after you get to the last dragon's back portion to jump up off of that. You don't just want to skim over all of them really fast or your front end's going to drop. So, you almost want to almost like you're thinking in your head, you're jumping up the first one into the last one, then jumping up out of that, hitting the throttle again to jump into this one. Then you're landing in that one and hitting the throttle just not too hardcore, just a little bit right when you land off that to double into that. Now you can jump into this, and I'm pretty sure you can jump all the way over this and then hit a single out. But there is one spot on this gameplay where I do hit it fairly quickly and hit like an insane line, like a 1 in a million line on that. I'll show you guys here in a second. But yeah, I see so many people wreck on this track, on that specific section. It's just insane how many people I see that just cannot get it figured out. You know, they can't get it in their head. You do not want to hit it wide open, man. You want to treat it like it's almost like it's a jump rhythm. You know, don't come into it too quick. You just want to kind of be, you know, fairly chill on the throttle. And then spurt your throttle right here, kind of lean back a little bit. It's going to pop you kind of up and over the two middle whoops of that dragon's back. Then you want to kind of lean back forward, land down in this last one, then hug back up out of that. You're not really on the throttle when you're right in this area, though. You're like, you know, you're right here, blip the throttle, get off of the throttle, okay, lean back, lean forward, then do the kind of like slam forward, then back again, right? So you pop up off of this and you don't just do a front flip instantly, but you're like off the throttle, you know, blip it, off it, blip it, and then you're in the air just like you're hitting a normal jump, right? Then you're kind of like landing forward and back again really quick because you got to bounce up out of this one. So then you're like, you know, then you're blipping the throttle again right there, and then you're blipping the throttle again right here. So you're almost treating it like a jump rhythm, even though it's way more difficult than that. You know, you got to really be quite a bit more precise with your landings and stuff like that, but there's a way to do it consistently. You know, some people think you can't even hit a section like this consistently, but basically, like right here, you want to know where you're going to be landing. You know, you could just roll off of this and not even jump into the second dragon's back there. You could do that, but it's going to be hella slow. So this is kind of like the fast line to it, right? Or one of the fast lines. There's a Pastrana line on it that's insane, but this is the more like what you call a consistent line on it. Sometimes it's easier to hit it smaller, and that's just the way you got to hit it when it comes to weird sections. Sometimes you're like doubling a main triple to hit a rhythm after it. Let's not bring that back up, get the damn jump police on my ass. But, you know, that's like another instance of a weird section, weird obstacle. Sometimes it's just like that. A lot of times you're hitting them slower than you think you would be on weird sections like that. But you want to think of it in your head like, what you want to do is picture this like just a double dragon's back. Don't even think about there being a gap right here. Just think of it as if this had a dragon's back all the way down to the ground, like an extra 1 or 2 whoops right there in front of my bike, right? You just want to think of it like a double dragon's back, both facing the same direction. But you want to think of it like you want to get that bike jumped out of this first dragon's back section and landed right into that one. You don't want to jump to the far one, because then it's going to get hella risky if you try to do that. You want to just jump to the middle one right here, right? And you got to get that perfect, like, lean forward, lean back throttle to bounce up out of this, but you don't want to try too hard or you'll just flip over one direction. You know, you just want to easily jump up out of this, and then you're going to easy double out of that like that. So it's so hard to explain that to some people. They just don't get it. I feel like some of them think of it as soon as they see a dragon's back or a weird section, they think, oh shit, I just got to hammer the throttle and, you know, then I'll be able to hit it right. But that's not always the case. Sometimes you got to be meticulous. Sometimes you got to be smart about it. And a lot of times that's really the key to it. But I think this right here is where I hit it really, really hardcore. Let's see. So I hit it just wide open, like what I would think a lot of people would think you would hit it, but I'm telling you, I got super lucky on how I came off the face of that dragon's back. The very last one on this first dragon's back, it doesn't happen like this every lap. Even though you can hit it wide open, just kind of like you're going over whoops, uphill whoops on this bad boy, but it doesn't happen like this every lap, man. So I got really lucky and popped off of that first one really well and was able to triple. You know, you're almost like tripling past up to the last braking bump of the second dragon's back, or the last whoop of the second dragon's back, right? So let me replay this from the very beginning just so you can see it all. So hit this wide open, pop off of this perfectly, barely make it to the top of that, and I'm like bouncing. Look at how insane the bounce I got off this. Come off of that, boom, boom, bounce, front end high. Okay, super control on it. Yeah, I would say 9 times out of 10, I would not be able to control the ricochet I got off of that face of that second Dragon's Back, so it's not recommended. I mean, you can see a pro dude hitting that like wide open, like you're thinking you have to hit it. A lot of beginners think they have to hit it wide open, and look how crazy it upsetted the bike. Like, some sections, the slower you hit them, the faster you go on them, man, especially on certain consistency sections. That right there is what happens to just about damn near everyone and their grandmother on that section. So, you know, you don't want to hit it wide open, basically, is what I'm saying. A lot of things are like that in this game, man. People get the impression that, oh, you got to hit whoops wide open, as if you got to start in the corner and never let off of the throttle all the way through the whoop section. It is very rare, even at my skill level, that I find a certain whoop section that you can actually go 0 to 100 throttle in the corner, all the way through the whoops, all the way to the end of it. I mean, it's like 1 in 1,000 whoop sections that you can actually do that in. There's a certain finesse to it, man. You're letting off, like, you know, you're going from 100% throttle to 80% throttle after you come out of the corner to get up on the top of the whoop, so you're not just like flying right into them, right? There's all different types of finesse elements to it, so don't let people trick you into thinking, oh, you just got to be wide open, dude. Just hold it wide open, man, right? Like, those people are screwing you up big time, especially if you're a beginner at it. You got to work yourself up to this stuff, man. You got to, you know, start off small, hit whoops small, hit small whoop sections slow. Don't think you're just going to come in there bonsai Pastrana on a straight rhythm, wide open RM Zilla. Like, you're not going to be able to do that, man. It takes a long time to get like that on whoop sections or weird sections or Dragon's Backs. You know, Dragon's Backs is kind of like learning a whole new thing in the game. Uphill whoops is like, you know, whoops times 2 difficulty in certain occasions, and especially when you get a section where it's like Dragon's Back to another jump, makes it like, you know, super level of difficulty. But it's just all sections are different like that. It's just a matter of you got to find a good consistent way to hit it. Don't worry so much about how big you can hit it, just find a proper way to go through it, and that's going to really help you on a lot of that stuff. But either way, man, I don't really know much more I can say about weird sections. Sometimes you're going to have sections where it's quicker to, like, find a way to jump all the way clear over a wall than it is to smack up against it, which goes totally against everything you know about most Supercross tracks, but it is a video game, even though it damn near like real life, it is a video game. So there's certain occasions where you're going to be able to hit stuff in this game that's not like quote-unquote what they would be hitting in real life, but sometimes in the pro ranks, you got to do what you got to do, bro. You know, if you got to hit a quad 5.769 jump rhythm on a rhythm, if that's potential, if you can do that on a 450, you're going to have to do that in the pro racing. People push it to the absolute limits in this game, man. You know, so sometimes, voice crack, I'm 14, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, okay? It's not a voice crack, that was me losing my voice a little bit. I been making quite a few videos today. Excuses, Spencer, that was a voice crack. What the fuck you saying, dog? No, legit, it really was. But whatever. Choose to believe me or not, that's okay. I'm sure you got a little chuckle out of it either way. But yeah, dude, like what I'm trying to get at is no matter what kind of rhythm it is, you got to hit her. You know, however fast you can get from the start of the corner to that face, whatever it is, whether it's a whoop or a jump or a hump or a bump or a slump or down a slough pond or whatever that section is, however fast you're capable of doing it, sometimes you got to do it to that level, but sometimes you don't. Sometimes it's faster to not hit it as fast as you can go on it. So it's just a matter of learning it, and you get better at, like, the weird sections, how the bike's going to react over that kind of crap. You saw that really epic save I had right there where the front end got super high, but I still saved it. You just get better at that over time, man. It just gets better and better and better. Even if you think you're really good at the game, it can still get better as far as control over the bike. That's something I get more and more and more every day. You know, hitting the whoops 5th tapped, man. Seemed like that's something I would never be able to do when I first got into this game, but now I'm damn near doing it on every whoop section. So it's all relative. It's all something that you improve on over time and eventually get to the point where it feels like you're playing reflex, but more realistic. You know, you got the control and the feeling of reflex and how good that feels and how much movement you have and everything you can do in reflex, but it's in a simulator and you got more movement and more control. So it's a really cool experience you can get to in this game eventually. So either way, hope this video helped you guys out. Later, dudes.